Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the IronTrans mini-series M01 police car. Now, I did get this at Show Z, so let's go ahead and get into this. So let's go ahead and have a look at this guy. So looking at him, he's got some paint on his face. Let's get all this into focus. Paint on his horns, his eyes are painted, his face is painted. It's a gray, not a metallic. This is more of a metallic here. That's more of a flat gray. I want to point this out right away. Blue headlights, and I like that. It just looks so good. It almost feels like they're going plus, like the Takara Plus. I like the paint. The white door with this shiny, kind of a shiny high gloss. I like shiny. Black paint. You have the police insignia there. And we have his paint on his shoulder on a white paint. This, I believe, is molded in black, but the hand is painted white. So you get a little bit of white variation, but not much. I mean, white's pretty easy to match. And then we have paint down here on the waist. Paint on the bumper for all that. This is white plastic down here with paint. The yellow's painted on, silver, chrome. The back, I mean, it is a bit opened in the back. I have to admit that, so not a big deal to me. Doors are on hinges. You can get whatever look you want out of that. So let's go ahead and look at articulation next. Looking at his head, side to side, goes up drastically. Down, not so much. Shoulder, same as the other one, goes out all the way to a little bit below 90, and then it could spin all the way around if you got the door out of the way. Got 90 degrees on the elbow, which you actually have shoulder articulation. Okay. Waist swivel for the transformation. Leg goes to a 90 to the front, back to where it hits the hood, the roof, the knee. Okay, now it's kind of hard to get that knee to the 90. Actually, knee goes a little, no, right exactly at 90. For some reason it felt like more than 90. And of course you have all kinds of stuff you can do with the ankle, and you have knee articulation. So you can get this guy in some poses. I mean, that's definitely something you can do. With this design, and it was always been an issue, these giant lower feet start to look a bit silly when you get into some crazy dynamic poses. So you have to keep that in mind when you pose them. Speaking of posing, depending on exactly how you want to get your pose, you can use this right here to get different stances. You can use your heel spur if you want, and it's extremely stable. That is how it's supposed to be. But this is how on Smog, I was using Smog. It goes out a bit further, but it felt more stable to me. But this is just fine also. So however you want to do those heel spurs, and we'll get into that in the transformation too. First comparison is going to be with his 03, the M03 buddy. I don't know if you'd call him a wave mate, but yeah, he's probably a wave mate. And Smog, they look good together. Of course, this pretty much the same mold, so they're pretty close to each other. So here he is next to McFan's Toys Hound, and like I said with Smog, they're almost about the same size. I can live with McFan's Toys Hound being 1/8 of an inch taller, and I think this guy looks good. So let's look at the primes. Let's look at it in prime time. Now, the thing is, the Magic Square one is still taller than him, so I can live with this. I can live with the way this looks, and that looks maybe a little better scale-wise, but even if, like this, I always feel like the Carbots are too small. Everyone always wants to fight me on that, because the people that fight me on that want all the alt modes to scale well, which is, you know, that's an issue. But I like the Carbots just a little bit bigger, so it works great for me. And we have that. Okay, so looking at this, it's the same issue we had with Smog. I think Sideswipe looks great next to him. It works very well. As for wheel jack, it's just a little bit off, but I could suspend my disbelief on my shelf just fine until IronTrans makes a wheel jack, right? So let's go ahead and get into the transformation of this guy. Now, although you could probably just leave all the accessories on aside from, because they go in the same spot when they come off, I do want to take them off during transformation and get those out of the way. So the first thing I want to do in transformation is I turn the head backwards because I want to protect these and wheels out. Okay, let's slide this down first. That'll give you room to get the wheels, and this one makes a lot more sense how everything should get positioned. Same difference here. You can push those wings. Since the wings are on a ball joint, you can push them out of the way. So we're going to turn this to line up with the wheel, and then you can just, at that point, fold it out. You saw how this side worked fine and nice and easy, and this side here is giving me some trouble doing the exact same thing. There it is. So now the wheel is in position, the wheel well is in position, and then you want to start move this hand to where there's a ridge. There's a ridge right here where the door is going to fall when it's all done. So now, before we do all that, let's make sure the ridge is right on this side, and we'll just leave the doors up doing what they're doing. We do have to flip the waist around, and we're going to make these legs work together. Push them up like so, and clip these pieces in. Right, like that, see? Do that on both sides and then clip them together. There is this notch right here. Come on, go in there. There, now it's in. Now you tab all that together. And this is the strange part. It's not really that hard, but you're gonna push it up together like this, and it's gonna bring that to the top, and this will go down here. Now the doors are going to come around like so, and this tab is going to clip into there, and that's going to solidify this transformation. Same thing on the other side. Tabs into the solidifying transformation. I'm going to lift this hood cover piece. It's on a double hinge. You need to hinge it forward so you can close it, and it tabs in just fine. And then we're going to go around and make sure it's all tabbed in. Last thing I do here, we have these heel spurs that fold over so that you can, it doesn't really roll. I mean, the wheels roll, but it doesn't really roll well. But anyway, there it is. Let's go ahead and get him armored up. Well, let's have a look at him, then we'll get him armored up. So, like with the other one, I didn't like this. So I'm going to tell you the negative first. The way the doors, since they are on a hinge, it's cool, but it leaves kind of a strange little gap. But it's not nearly as bad on this figure as it is on Smog, and I think on Streak it's fine also. It's not that big of an eyesore. But it's probably, out of everything, the way this looks is the worst part. Aside from that, the rest of the mode looks perfect. So I guess that black is paint. We have some blue transparent right here. This is all white plastic and has a nice sheen to it. I don't know if it's shining, isn't it? We have paint, all the same paint from we saw in bod mode. The silver on the wheels. We have this little bit of gap right here, which I don't really like, but it's the way it is. The doors open, so I mean, it's kind of a, do you want the doors to open or not? You're giving up a little aesthetic for a function of a door opening. But the doors can close and hold it back together with that piece. Got a little light blue there, and that's a transparent blue right here. You can see in this one, the seats, it looks like the legs look like they're seats. That's part of the transformation. I think that's cool. Looking at the back of it, he's got the paint. It seems like that comes untabbed a little bit easy. But it's got blue paint for the windshield, making it look like it's Takara Plus and all of that. Let's go ahead and get into some comparisons. But before comparisons, we're going to put all of these fun things on. Here are his missile launchers. They comes with two. They're like a dark charcoal gray, and then like a shinier silver, but it's still kind of dark and muted for the tips that's painted on. And then you have, on this one, you have some red paint there. It's like a red dot on this one that's not on this one. That's strange. Anyway, let's go ahead and plug them in. Since both sides look like they're filled out, you're going to put it into the slot on the hood, which is the same place we had it in robot mode. And there we go. And his gun, just like Smog, plugs in the top. And I think it's cool that they did it, they offered it. But if I were to display this in alt mode, I wouldn't have a single weapon on it. They'd go back in the baggie. This does have one more accessory right here, and it is the light. So if you want to put that on so that he can be a cop car, there it is. That's what he looks like as a cop car. Now the reason that they don't just mold that in or glue that in or just leave it in place is so that you can mount the gun there, I guess. But I would never mount my gun there anyway, so I'd have been fine if it was just molded in or glued in or whatever. But now I'm kind of afraid I might lose it. Here he is with the Masterpiece Takara, and I really want to like measure him up to the Masterpiece Hot Rod because he is so big, so you can kind of see. Now he's not anywhere near the size of Masterpiece, but feels like he's on the big side of Legends, so that's kind of why I like to do that. Here he is next to McFan's Toys Hound and the official Hasbro version of Sea Spray, and you can kind of get an idea of what they look like that. There they are. And there they are. I think it's a great size, a great looking vehicle mode, and that really does work. Here he is next to Masterpiece Wheelie. I can't keep forgetting what they call this wheelie, but it's not the McFan's Toys, and it's the one that has all the die-casts in it. But so you can see what he looks like, size-wise and scale-wise. So he's about the same size as a Masterpiece Wheelie. Not quite as big, but almost as big. But Wheelie is way taller. I guess I should have shown that. But here's a couple more. So if you have like Flipper's a little bit smaller than this guy, and this is Magic Square's Cosmos, just to get kind of a scale and idea based on figures that you may already have in your collection, so you can get an idea of how he will look. So this has been the IronTrans mini-series M01 police car, and it's a great figure. In fact, I am very happy with it. Even the faults that I find in the alt mode, I don't think are that big of faults. The doors open, it's an interesting function. You give up some aesthetic for that. That's a choice that they made. The fact that this figure has plenty of paint, shiny plastic feels solid, never feel like I'm gonna break it, has the articulation that you'd want in a figure this small, fits right in with all of my McFan's Toys stuff, fits okay with my Magic Square, probably too big for your new age, but anyway, it still looks like a great figure. Let me know what you think of this guy. Like and subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out. Get yours to Show Z.